Hey YouTube, hope you're doing good today. All you beautiful golden gamers out there. We're going to take a look at some things from the past, and I'm going to react as honestly and maybe thoroughly as possible. I'm excited. I think there's a lot of cool stuff out there, and I'm really glad to be able to share some of this with you guys. So I'm ready to get into it if you all are. This is me versus Kage, K-word, at Revival of Melee 2. Of course, with none on the team, always a little afraid to say Kage's name, but I will. This was fun. This was a fun set. I'm just kind of doing stuff, and it doesn't really matter because Kage hates Falco, like a lot. This was back when it wasn't cool to hate Falco, and a lot of people actually really enjoyed playing against Falco. Kage was not one of those people. This was my big breakout tournament. I'd beaten, so many people regionally or higher ranked, top 10-ish people. And then I went to this, there were so many good players, and Kage beat Mango twice. He double eliminated him. I didn't play Mango that tournament. I still hadn't played Mango ever at that time. Kage beat him, so I never played him. And then by the time I played Kage, Mango was gone. I had played Hungrybox in Winners Finals and lost again. I continued my long losing streak to Hungrybox before I finally figured out what to do. And I played Kage here in, I think, Losers Finals. This was fun, because after getting deflated by Hungrybox and working through so many great players that were all great against Falco, it was nice to just have, just a soothing time of doing whatever and hitting Ganon, because he's a great big target. I actually watched this set a lot. It's kind of just like a combo video, the whole set. I'm just kind of doing stuff and hitting Ganon and he's dying, and, so it was a good time. I certainly hold a soft place in my heart for it. Did feel a little bad for Kage. This is where his Falco hate really intensified. Wouldn't be the first person I did that to. Wow. This would be the next one. Oh, you ever just shot 6 lasers in a row and got a stage banned? A lot of people hated that I did this. A lot of people hated that I did this. But at the same time, you tried counterpicking M2K with Falco. Where are you going to go, FD? You're getting Marth. Dreamland, you're getting Sheik. What do you want, man? This was the last time Rainbow Cruise was legal. It was already kind of banned at this point. I didn't really get it banned. I just maybe got it banned a little bit faster. Anyway, that was fun. And this was like a continuation, right? This is the next Revival of Melee. It's a year later. This is Grand Finals. And, it had been a spirited set back and forth. Mango had started supporting me, and he was like, I'll put a 20 on PP. Who wants to take my bets? And it was Tri-State, right? This was back when M2K, was still living in New Jersey, where he'd started and everything. So everyone wanted a side bet. A lot of hype. I think that made M2K kind of nervous, but I was the up-and-comer, so, I was just excited to play. I was a very serious competitor, but if you go back and watch the set, this was one of the few times where I was smiling in tournament. Because I knew I was about to win, to climb this great hurdle. I had played M2K, I think, a couple times before, and I hadn't done great. And I, finally worked really hard and been able to overcome him, even though, back then I wasn't playing him on Slippy, and there wasn't much online footage of him to watch, and so I was mostly just looking at old footage, and if he did play, seeing what else he might have changed and working on my own game, and I put a lot together, and I was very proud of that, and I was very happy about all the work I'd done. So it really was a very special win for me, and I think this was what started a short dominant period for me that really introduced me into the 5 gods, as it would later be known. At the time, it was just kind of like, oh, this guy beat M2K, no one does that. And that was cool. That was a great feeling. Ah, of course. This was such a special tournament for me in a different way. I was not smiling while I played this. I'll tell you that right now. Armada's very, very tough to play against. He beat me in Winners, and I was very upset. I didn't think and then I was like, well, maybe I can't do it. And I talked about it in the documentary. I had some depression issues at the time. You can see it's kind of back and forth. Armada's really got a lot of pressure going out on me. But something kind of clicked inside me when I was frustrated, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. I think I can do it. Everything kind of just came together for me, and I decided to play with a lot more confidence. I decided to stop playing as safe as I normally do, and I think that was a start of a personal and professional change for me. And it was kind of cool that my own story, this short period that started with ROM 3 and a couple other tournaments, culminated here, culminated with this win, culminated beating, everyone at this point, really. And yeah, it cemented me as the top player at the time. Didn't hold on to that. That's okay. But yeah, it was generally considered that I was the top player at the time, and that was the first time that was the case, and that would be the only time that would be the case for quite a while. I had to really, like I was saying, readjust myself after that. I mean, you can see Armada has nerves here too. I think we both really wanted this win, but I was able to put it together. Man, I mean, you can just feel it in the commentary too, the tension and everything building and how much we both really wanted it. But yeah, great tournament. Really love it. Special place in my heart. Oh boy. All right. Well, what can I say? Now this tournament I think was more frustrating. This was a time when I really wasn't winning as much, and I had more frustration and you know, as you can see, we're game 5. M2K's tough on this stage. I had to play him on this stage quite a bit this tournament. I think I tried Marth at one point, didn't work. I wasn't as much of a Marth player then. I really wanted to win this. I was, upset. I knew I could play better than how I had done in winners. And I pop off super hard. The one person in the crowd that's cheered for me shows up, that guy was crazy. He basically cheered against the whole crowd, and I went crazy. There were a lot of reasons for me to feel strongly about this event. I'm glad I pulled through. I think this was one of the first pop-offs that we have recorded in Smash. And the reason I even thought about doing this was it was around the time where I think Mike Ross did his pop-off, his iconic one. And I saw that and I was like, wouldn't that be cool if we did that? And I didn't really think about it at that point. I didn't plan anything, but I guess somewhere deep in me, I was inspired. And I was, able to put some emotion to good use, and that was cool.
I didn't want Mango to win.
So, okay.
Until you said that
This was the first time I'd ever beaten Mango. And look, there's my pop-off. I hadn't beaten Mango's Falco in the Ditto and a whole lot before. I had beaten him previously, but it had been when he played Falcon some, and then a little bit of Falco, and maybe felt weird about it and stuff like that. So it was the first time I'd really beaten him when he was trying, when it was a Falco Ditto, and everything like that. And the SoCal crowd was behind me, and I had lost in winners fairly convincingly. And kind of in the same sort of fashion, I had used some frustration I had to move forward and to just go after him. When we played a real slobber knocker of a finals, there's not a whole lot of careful positioning or whatever. We're just going for it. And again, the whole crowd was absolutely against me, and so I super popped off. I think this is a win that I felt good about because it's hard to win when the whole crowd's cheering against you, kind of like that Zenith situation. It's hard to win when they're that close, and it's hard to win when someone's in their element and they're playing well and all that stuff. And so I was proud of the win, and Mango was someone I had worked a really long time to overcome. Mango was really confusing for me as a person and a player, and so to be able to overcome him that way, I think, really changed our dynamic, and I think it was good for me. So I was very glad, personally about the win. Would it have been nicer, dear viewer, if I had been a little more graceful in victory and maybe hadn't popped off in a way that maybe could have frustrated Mango? Yeah, sure, probably, but. It was 10 years ago, man. And if I would pop off now, I would hopefully do it more gracefully and happily and less angrily. We'll see. A game 5 with M2K, having player cams on M2K is tough for me because now I have to look at oh, I am sad that M2K is sad, and that I don't like making people sad. Ooh, love that for me. M2K super happy with that. I mean, M2K has said he doesn't like playing me. M2K doesn't like Falco. I am a big part of the reason for that. M2K and I hadn't always had game 5s. I mean, I think these clips might lead you to believe why was M2K so upset? There were a lot of game 5s. Well, there were a lot of times where I was beating M2K and it wasn't close. And it was very difficult for him to play against me. And I don't really like making people sad. So it's something I try not to think about, but then I would think about it, and then that would change how I played. And then M2K gets his grab, and then he gets some mojo, and then the crowd's like, yeah! And then I'm like, well, this is even weirder. And so it was a whole lot for me, and I know as a competitor, you're supposed to tune that out. I hadn't learned how to navigate that as well at the time. It was a strange dynamic that we had, and yeah, All right, we'll talk about the handshake. Let me look at it again. So I knew he didn't really want to shake my hand, and I extended my hand because it was common culture at the time to handshake. That's what it was. Now, I knew he was sad, and so I didn't try to drag it. I didn't try to do a long handshake. I just put it out, and we've moved away from handshakes since then, and so we won't get moments like that anymore. But sometimes people don't even fist bump now, so you still can get whatever, right? It's us again. Okay. Man, you know, if you really think about it, life would be different if I wasn't playing M2K in finals so much. I don't think M2K knew he didn't have a jump. Oh, but he did shake my head more thoroughly that time. Oh, and this is me popping off, and I run off screen. I actually run, there's a little lower area past the stage. I was popping off because I was really happy about winning. I hadn't won a thing in a while. You notice there's a little bit of a gap. Even that last set, I didn't win that tournament. So you can see that set was like less close. There was less back and forth. I think I was sorting out more of my personal journey, and then this tournament win kind of caps that off. Had a fun pop off. Had a bunch of people around me just sending good vibes. It was pretty cool. Glad a lot of people liked it. Tough times to be M2K, but our handshake did improve. Do love that. Oh, you're never gonna believe. Doctors hate him. It's no way. Oh man, this is M2K's least favorite video on the internet, besides salty ice climber moments in Smash, probably. What could possibly be said about me versus M2K that hasn't already been said? Oh, I love this pop-up. This is actually my favorite pop-up because I'm so happy. I think it's funny the way it ended, but I'm also like really happy about the way so many things came together. This is my favorite pop-off, and in a way, one of my favorite wins. Because I haven't had a whole lot of tournament wins. I acknowledge that, but this was really up there and special for me because I didn't there wasn't anger in it. It was just joyful. I was happy with that, and that's so much growth with that, and I love it so much. But it was so nice to see that despite everything going on in my life, that I was able to have something more authentic. And so I'm really happy. I'm always happy to see that pop up. I'm glad to have pulled that one out. I beat Armada and Mango at that tournament as well, so that was. It was a very satisfying victory for me. Really, really glad to have pulled that one out. Oh wait, okay. I thought this was a different tournament, and I was like, wait, is this the one where I lose to Leffen? Which would have been kind of funny. Man, this set was so tense, and I could feel how much Leffen wanted it. He is just, oozing like emotion and feeling and wanting it and angst and all this stuff when we were playing. And so it was very powerful, and I think we were both kind of feeling it and feeling how important the moment was in the set. Oh yeah, I was very happy about that win because that was an incredibly tense set. You can see he had, a couple serious openings. He did flub his punishes. I was flubbing punishes. It was very serious set. We wanted it a lot. Again, you can kind of see I'm slumping over there. Is it a sign of things to come? Who could say, dear viewer? If only we had a time machine. I was really giving everything I had, and leading up to this event, I did a lot of work. I did a lot of personal work. I took a few months off, and this was during a time when Melee's meta was advancing rapidly, when storylines were changing rapidly, when a lot was happening, and it was, for depression, and I was taking that time, and I was really sorting out a lot with myself, and I was finding so much about my connection to the game and how much it mattered, and how working on the game was working on me, and working on me was working on the game, and I really began to understand that on a much deeper and more profound level. And even though I was experiencing challenges, like you saw there, I think because I had trained so well and done so much inner work that I was still able to beat, these phenomenal opponents like Leffen. And so I am very glad for that, and I am glad to see that despite everything I was still feeling, and certainly physically experiencing even at that time, I believe, I was still able to feel a lot of joy, and I want to play Leffen a lot more. I think he's an incredibly smart opponent, has a really cool way of approaching the game and doing his own labbing and things like that, so really looking forward to more of that, and I'm really glad that I was able to pull this one out against him. It was a very, very important set at a very pivotal time for myself and for the scene, so very happy for that. So this set, I know I figured this was going to be the next one, but I talked about Leffen beforehand because this set was interesting. This is the second set. As you can see, we both have the L by our name. I needed to use the first set for information against Armada's Fox because he was doing such a good job. You're going to see I'm picking him out of the air a lot more when he's going to that platform. That was kind of the main adjustment because the vertical play against Fox is so important. And so that was something that I really needed to figure out a lot more. So many people rushing the stage. So many people were happy with me getting the dub. People from North Carolina, a lot of them are there. My former manager is there. A lot of people are there. I mean, it was really cool. You see me not jumping up and popping off. It's like 3 a.m. It was an insane moment for an insane time for the game. You can see Armada's like a fairly good sport about it, which I think is really cool. won a lot of tournaments. He knows that it's all fine and everything, and he'll go on and there will be more. But for me, you know, this was really special, and it cemented so much. It proved that I could do it still. It proved that the work that I did was worth it. It proved that despite all the stuff, despite the body stuff, despite the mind stuff, to be able to push through so much, to know that all the work you did, you know, in the prior years when you lost your way, and then leading up to this when you kind of lost it again, or you really needed to find something deeper, and you find it, and you find your own way of going about things, because the game pushes you to go that, and your life pushes you to go to that, and it comes together, and you go up against, you know, an absolute beast like Armada, and you're able to pull it out. I think it was really beautiful, and I'm glad I was able to share that with people in the way that I could. You know, every time I think about this event, you know, I think I'm glad I was able to do it. I'm glad I was able to share it. I'm glad I was able to experience it. I want to be able to do that again. So it's wonderful, and you know, I'm always very appreciative when this comes up and is remembered fondly, and you know, it was such a great time for the game. So I'm very happy to have this moment, and to use it to inspire me for more. Now we're in a very different phase of our life cycle. So this is a special tournament, because at this time I hadn't really been playing a whole lot. This is a teams tournament. I'm playing with my great buddy LOZR, and you know, this was a time where HBox was clutch god. This is when he was beating everyone. This was a time when I wasn't really playing, and HBox was H-clutching all over everyone. LOZR wasn't even playing that game, but LOZR was my good buddy. He was someone. Oh, I forgot we did that. That was so huge. Seriously though, I mean, this is a time when I wasn't playing at this tournament. I was laying down. I physically could not get up. I was so unbelievably tired. My health had just been in a really sorry state. I was really struggling. But this was a North Carolina regional, and we hadn't had those in a while, and we had been able to pull some big names to it. And LOZR, you know, my buddy, and the player who was #1 when I started, and my team's partner, and we had gotten to be one of the greatest teams in the world at one point. He said, you know, I think this is my last tournament. I'd really like to team with you at it. I understand if not, but I'd really like to. And I took a little bit of time to think about it, and I said, it's going to be hard, but I think for everything we've done and everything, I'd like to do this. I'd like to be able to do this with you. And I'm glad I made the choice, because we put on a heck of a show. We were able to beat Hungrybox and show that there was something beautiful there and get the crowd going. And I'm really glad for that. I think it was another moment. I think this is a moment that I'll probably appreciate more once I'm on the other side. Not of life, but of the you know, stuff I'm dealing with now and was dealing with to a much greater extent then. You know, I think it's remarkable that I was able to do anything, let alone being able to take the win. So I'm very happy about that. And of course, you know, tons of credit to Adam, LOZR. He does a great job in teams. Fond memory for sure. I hope to create some more fun times, and maybe there will be another North Carolina regional at some point. I'd love to see what I can do to help with that. But that is our last clip. GG's. This was fun. This was cool. Thanks to the GG staff putting this stuff together, and thank you guys for watching. I had a good time checking all this stuff out, and let me know what clip you like the most, or if there's any clip we missed that you want to see, or what you thought about it all. I know a lot of our viewers are new. Let me know what you thought. I'll be looking through the comments. I'm very curious. But anyway, thank you for watching, and until next time, gamers.